Hello classmates and Professor Willis. Today I will be recreating the Roman Caligae route. For this recreation I am not going to follow the exact techniques or materials, however I will try to make it as close as possible to the original. First I'm going to teach you all about the military Caligae boots and their functionality, and their purpose in history. Well, starting with the basics. The Caligae boot is called a boot, but it resembles a sandal more. And according to archaeologist Lindsay Allison Jones, these boots were made with three parts: the straps layer, the lower sole, the top sole, and all three parts were made of cow or ox leather, preferably thick leather, so they could be durable. The military Caligae boots were made for durability, strength, comfort. A good example to explain the layout is to think about it as a sandwich or a burger, where the buns are the top and the lower soles, and the top and the strap layer is the meat, and the nails are the toothpicks going through all of it. The strap layer is where the design and the straps are, obviously. This part is made with openings for both comfort and ventilation, so your feet wouldn't get too moist that your skin becomes too soft and it gets injured, you get cuts from all the walking and hiking you have to do. On the back it has leather to support your heel, which is actually two parts that go on each side that are sewn together like this. See how they're two parts, and when they're together they become one heel support? Yeah. This layer is basically just a leather sole that has straps on its outer edges. The lower sole, or the first sole, or the main sole, refers to the bottom part of the boot, the part that directly touches the ground. The main sole was a thick, often made from a few layers of leather, so it can take all the marching, walking, running it had to do. This part was also where the heads of the nails, the Caligae, rested. The nails were not arranged randomly or arranged in rows of nails like modern boots. The nails on the Caligae were designed to increase tractions without losing comfort. They would not put nails in high pressure places like the center of your ankle or under the joints of your toes. The nails were mainly placed on the edges of the foot and where the foot's arch will sit, around this area. The top sole goes on top of the strap layer sole. The purpose of this sole is to add comfort, strength, and to keep the structure of the boot together, because it does not let the strap layer get damaged by usage, so the straps can keep their strength and the straps will not get ripped off when a lot of strength is used to tie them together. Like this. This is the strap layer and this is the top sole. So it goes on top of it to keep it in place. According to archaeologist M.C. Bishop, the Caligae boots were used extensively from the period ruled by Augustus Octavian to the reign of Hadrian's. Bishop 2006 and 111. This period was around the 1st century AD, or from the start of the early empire to the high empire period. The Caligae was a big part of the lifestyle of the soldiers who wore them, because this style of boots was part of the military uniform, so they had to learn how to use them and their weaknesses. The Caligae were worn by every military soldier, from the lowest position to the highest. Because of that, Caligae remains can be found all over the Roman territories in Europe, such as Italy, England, Spain, and many others, obviously in different states of the composition. As archaeologist Lindsay Allison Jones said, the Caligae remains may vary. In some instances, archaeologists only find nails in burial places because they were the only thing that was not organic. But in other places like England, they find almost complete pairs. Alison Jones, 2011, 48. So that is how we can make good replicas in the modern day and know where and when the Caligaes were made. One interesting fact about the boots was that the Roman soldiers actually used socks in really cold places like England. Now going with the other Miguel to actually see the process of making the boots. Hello everyone, I am the other Miguel. I started by making paper replicas like the one I used to explain the boot to get the correct measurements and the design that I wanted. But I did them off camera because it was just a lot of measuring and remaking parts. So I am going to use these paper versions as a mold for the final product. For my replica, I was not able to find thick leather. However, that should not be a problem. And I will not be using the Caligae nails as I could not find them on time. During this first part, all I am doing is tracing the shape of the mold on the leather upside down and upside up to get the same measurements on both boots. Here I am tracing a paper sole many times on the leather and labeling them L for left and R for right because I need a few layers of the soles to get a thick sole for the lower part of the sole. Now that I finished tracing the correct number of soles to get a thick sole in both strap layers, I am going to start cutting out the laces, the strap layers, and all the soles. During this step, I need to make sure everything is correct, as this is the last time I can make any changes. Now that I finished cutting everything out, I am going to sew the back of the heel of each strap layer to finally start the assembling process. The assembly process is simple. All I have to do is align everything together and start nailing with a simple design on the sole. Here is the final product. Now, during this part, I will test these boots out through different terrains a Roman soldier would have walked or hiked on, such as rocky trails, grasslands, dirt paths, and concrete roads. Finally, I'm going to answer the questions about how comfortable they are and their actual durability after testing them out. My first impressions are that they're not too uncomfortable, to be honest. They feel like any other shoe. They have grip enough. They're grippy enough to walk and not slip or anything. The only thing is because they're open shoe, a lot of rocks are coming inside my boot. So yeah, that's a little inconvenient, but not too bad. Well, first I'm testing rocky paths, which they were fairly common in Europe during the first century, and the only thing I am noticing is that I can feel almost every single rock I'm walking on. So that's a little bit inconvenient. However, with my knowledge on hiking, that's not such a big of a deal because you as long as you have grip, you're pretty good to go. Hello, now I'm testing the grasslands, which there were a lot in north of Italy. What I am noticing about grasslands is that it feels like I'm walking on a mattress, which sounds weird, but it just feels like a mattress. The grass feels like foam inside your mattress, and because it's leather, my sole is leather, it feels like the top of the mattress. It feels really nice, which it's really surprising because if I was a soldier back then and I was walking on grass, it would be like a break, having a break from war and stuff and everything. Well, what I found out about dirt paths, it feels like I'm barefoot, but grippier because thanks to the nails, obviously. But they feel much better than the rocky paths, but they feel a lot they feel flat, which in some cases may be good, but for running, marching, um, maybe it was not as good because you could sleep. For my final test, I'm testing concrete roads, which they they were concrete roads in Europe back then because the Romans built them. I feel every single nail with each step I'm taking, which is weird because with the other three tests, I didn't feel the nails at all. So definitely uncomfortable. However, you wouldn't be marching a lot on concrete roads unless you were a guard. The answer is 2 miles. Yes, 2 miles. And my ankle started hurting. However, I was walking on concrete and then I started walking on grass and the pain went away. So definitely the terrain matters a lot. Something this project helped me understand about ancient people was just how much they had to plan ahead, because I had to research a lot to find the correct designs. I had to do a lot of measuring to get the correct size. And even after that, the boots were just a little bit bigger than my foot. However, not too bad. But back then, if you made a mistake like that, that could cost you that could cost you a win in battle. Another thing that I understand now, it's the terrain. I always thought, well, it's just terrain. They're walking. It's about the same. However, it is not the same. Walking on grasslands was a dream. It was like a break from walking. Walking on concrete was horrible. It was a lot of pain. It was really painful. Well, that's the end of my project, and I hope you enjoy, and thank you so much for listening.